I'm an Osho person.
Miraculous book.
I'm an Osho person, and I teach Gurdjieff movements as a medium to communicate what I know about presence, awareness, and meditation. Yeah. I'm not an expert on Gurdjieff work. I've read some of Ouspensky, I've read some of the books by Gurdjieff's pupils, but I've never been in a Gurdjieff group. I've never been interested to be in a Gurdjieff group.
Why?
Because I have a master, Osho. I was with Osho for 10 years before I encountered the movements. I wasn't looking for another teaching. I was just struck by the movements.
Посещаете множество стран, проводя практические занятия с опорой на техники Ошо и на гурджиевские движения. Можно ли сказать, что за этим стоит некий образ миссионерской работы, связанный с тем, что вы передаете импульс, полученный от Ошо, и также стараетесь, как вы сказали ранее, передать вкус присутствия, вкус осознанности, используя разные методы? Я немного изменяю вопрос.
Jivan, can you say that you are just giving the impulse, giving the impulse that Osho gave to you, to people? Can it sound in such a way?
Yeah, I have been with Osho now for 30 years. And I've been involved with the movements for about 19 years. So when I came to movements, I'd already been in the milieu of meditation for 10, 11 years. And basically, when I first saw the movements, it had an incredible impact on me. I felt like I have to learn this. I have to learn this. And what I got when I first started learning the movements was a direct experience of meditation. I'd heard Osho say many times, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the emotions, you are the witness or the watcher. And that's a concept which we can all understand fairly easily intellectually. But through practicing the movements, what I got for the very first time was a direct experience of what that actually means. A direct experience of that, not just an idea of that. It was also immediately clear to me through practicing the movements what they were about, what they were for, on an intuitive level. At that time, I knew very little about Gurdjieff, and afterwards I read about Gurdjieff. I read articles and interviews with movements teachers from the 1940s, and I felt that what I intuitively experienced was what they were talking about. What that says to me is that Gurdjieff's work primarily is the movements. For me, all of his ideas, all of his theories, as far as I understand them, are contained in the movement. I call my website Truth Dancing. The reason for that is because that is what I feel the movements are. I feel they are expressions of truth in movement, or through movement. As I say, what I felt I experienced through the movements was a direct experience of meditation. What that is, another way of saying it, is a direct experience of truth, of reality. And in my teaching, that's what I'm hoping to communicate to my students, a direct experience of truth, of reality.
Вопрос следующий. В связи с тем, что вы говорите, в частности, что в танцах, в гурджиевских движениях воплощено содержится все учение Гурджиева или все его аспекты, можем ли мы каким-то образом понять, что за тип людей приходит к системе Гурджиева и вообще к метафизике, к практике духовной через движение? Ведь многие идут через знакомых, через реализованных знакомых.
Jivan, you're told that the idea of the Gurdjieff ideas are concentrated, are contained in their movements.
Yeah.
what type of people are coming to these practices? Because sometimes to the Gurdjieff metaphysics, people are coming through some friends or whatever. So what type of people are going?
Very talented, sincere friends who tends to practice. Второй вариант через книги.
Another way is books. People are reading books and coming.
People who are oriented for mental activity.
Yeah, I would say from many areas. Some people come because they've read Gurdjieff, and this is a practical approach to Gurdjieff. Some people come who know very little about Gurdjieff himself, have heard about the movements. Some people come who are simply interested in movement and the body, and it's another form. I would say generally all over the world it's a kind of mixture in my groups.
И, как вы сами говорите, движение – это очень емкая, очень эффективная, действенная часть. Но движение, естественно, лишь часть. Можем ли мы, вправе ли мы попробовать выделить наиболее актуальные для настоящего времени аспекты гурджиевского учения?
Chairman, so movements are part of the Gurdjieff teaching, and actually, can you tell some other features or some other aspects of his teaching could be actual for our time?
В частности,
in particular,
Гурджиев ввел понятие работа.
For example, there was work.
Оказалось, the work.
The work for job.
Оказалось, что это понятие было странным, промежуточным, емким.
It was rather strange. It was not final. It was in between, and it is like a stage to develop yourself in different directions.
Это просто пример одного из понятий, которое тогда работало, а сейчас оно не оказывает столь мощного и невербального, можно сказать, воздействия.
And this is like a thing that that time it worked, and now it doesn't work actually. So work for people is now is not so attractive.
Работает, но ограниченно.
Or it is work very in a very shortage area, so not so.
Можем ли мы для нашего времени выделить наиболее актуальные, звучащие принципы и методы гурджиевского учения, как Джован об этом думает?
Кроме
движения. Принципы и методы.
So what are the most actual principles and methods of Gurdjieff learning, teaching?
Which are
on our days.
Yeah. Well, I think for me one of the most important things, Gurdjieff, one of the reasons he created the movements, he wanted to create presence of being. Now for me, presence of being means nothing else other than meditation, the art, the skill, the knack of staying in the present moment. In the sense that staying present as opposed to living in the movie of the mind, which most people do. The mind is the enemy of presence. I think it's very relevant today what Gurdjieff said about man is asleep, man is a robot. I think that's absolutely as relevant today as it was when he was alive and teaching. One of the things I like about Gurdjieff's work is its practicality. It's kind of down-to-earthness.
Что мне нравится в учении Гурджиева, что это очень практическая вещь, максимально практическая.
I actually think the idea of work is or Gurdjieff's idea of work is as relevant today as then. I think possibly the Gurdjieff groups go about it in the wrong way. For Osho too, work was very important. I mean, actually this aspect of Osho's work, I feel he took from Gurdjieff. Now Osho in his ashram in India for years used work as a meditation. Work was one of the primary meditations in the ashram.
И в ашраме, в Индии, в Ошевском ашраме, работа была одним из там основных способов медитации. Это он использовал работу как способ, физическая работа, да.
Physical
work.
Not only physical work, any work that needs to be done. Physical work, working in the kitchens, working cleaning, working in the offices, working in the laundry. This attracted hundreds of people, myself included. I myself worked for over 10 years, about 13 years in fact, in Osho's ashram, for no money. I spent as much time of the year as I could there, which was about 6 to 8 months, for no money working there. Because the way it was set up, what Osho understood about work, and I think this is the same that Gurdjieff understood about work for its own sake is a way of growth, a way of increasing our awareness, of developing awareness.
Как Оша, скорее всего, так же, как и Гурджиев, воспринимал работу как способ развития себя. Когда мы работаем ради работы, то это способ осознания себя.
Работа на идею.
Do you mean the work on some idea, the work on another person?
No, I mean practical work. Cleaning, cooking.
Реальная работа, то есть уборка, готовка, что угодно.
Это я понял, вы просто
Living with awareness.
Жизнь
Everyday living
в
with
осознании,
awareness.
что жизнь с осознанием, со смыслом. You mean that it has the aim, your life has some aim.
I mean that through work. Okay. Meditation, consciousness is not apart from everyday life. Meditation is not going off for 10 years and living in a cave in the Himalayas and sitting like this. Real meditation, as I understand it, is about bringing that quality into your everyday life. From what I read, I think this is very much what Gurdjieff was trying to do. It was certainly what Osho was doing.
И это то, что, как я читала, Гурджиев хотел донести до людей, то, что Оша.
So when I'm talking now about work, I'm talking about real actual work.
То есть, когда сейчас я говорю о работе, я говорю о конкретной
Like the Zen people say, carrying water to the well, that's a meditation.
Использовалось ли Ошо понятие сверхзадачи, гурджиевское понятие сверхзадачи?
So let's speak a little bit wider, and the question is: does Osho or did Osho used the Gurdjieff's idea of the
сверхусилие, сверхзадача?
Super task or super effort or
Много людей имеют задачу, между тем Гурджиев писал, если нет сверхзадачи, очень слабые шансы.
So as Gurdjieff wrote, a lot of people have tasks, but if you don't have the upper task, the very low chances that you would be aware. And are you agree with that, or what is about this upper task? Should it be, and what is this upper task?
Well, in the way we're talking about work, I think it's only effective as a device for growth, as a device for increasing awareness, if in the first place I have that, to use Gurdjieff terms, that wish, that I wish to increase my awareness. If I don't wish to increase my awareness, then working in the kitchen or digging a hole is just working in the kitchen and digging a hole.
Еще один вопрос. Существует ли контакт между преподавателями гурджиевских движений и в какой плоскости этот контакт наиболее ярко проявлен?
Are there any contacts between the teachers of Gurdjieff movements? We know that there are in foreign countries there are teachers of Gurdjieff movements, and what in what place or in what format?
Okay, there's an informal contact between informal. Yeah, we don't have a club or an association, but I mean many of us know each other. We share often when we get more refined notes about various movements, we will share that together. But there's no formal organisation.
И эти три группы, они формально тоже действительно никак не связаны.
Можно я спрошу, это группа по движениям или именно
Это
гурджиевские
гурджиевские группы, да. Где-то практикуются интенсивно движения, где-то движение не практикуется интенсивно, а по желанию. И этот контакт нам действительно кажется наиболее плодотворным.
So this contact is most fruitful because also these groups are contacting in such a way. So some of them have movements, some of them don't. So it's not obligatory. It's up to you.
The primary task is to create the common space, the common atmosphere, which has inspiration and unison inspiration for all people who decide to struggle against not only his personal dream, but again the dream of all beings. You know about 3 levels of common, total, universal dream.
Yeah.
And in this connection, I guess the Guru's teaching is most fruitful, and it requires not only master, not only teacher, it requires atmosphere and informal contacts, informal ways to know about one another and to share, really share. Это парадигма Гурджиевского клуба, и, конечно, мы были бы очень рады поддерживать контакт с вами, с другими преподавателями движений, с другими группами, которые не практикуют движение на Западе.
We have a wish and feeling, and we would be very glad to keep contacts with you and with other teachers of Gurdjieff movements and with other probably Gurdjieff groups that are not practicing movements, but it's our paradigm of our. Thank you very much that you had fun time for us, and after the seminar you are looking very good, very energetic.
Okay.